Hello everyone, this is Coach Sean, and we have finished reviewing the hitting video from early December, and we're now just putting together your hitting lessons. There's some things that are common amongst a lot of our hitters that the videotape is showing us, and I just wanted to start by reviewing some of these things so that everybody can become familiar with them, what they are, how they affect your swing, what you can do to correct it, practice drills, etc. What I'd like everyone to do after you read these things is stop your video, go online, go to our website, saintsbaseball.club. Once you're at the website, saintsbaseball.club, I would like you to go to the features page, and I'd like you to watch the following videos. The first one I would like you to watch is Fix Your Flat Swing, Master the Snap Drill. I believe this drill is essential in any hitter's swing. If you do not move your hands, turn the triangle, snap the bat rearward, and pull your hands through a swing, you're not going to have your best swing. You're not going to be able to attack the balls on the corners and things of that nature. A flat swing is going to have trouble hitting outside and inside pitches. What we are trying to build with our hitters is a complete hitter, somebody with no holes in their swing that can attack all the balls in the zone and drive the ball from gap to gap at your 18 to 22 degree upward plane, thusly making each hitter the best they can be. So again, if you do not snap your bat correctly, this drill is perfect for slowing it down, duplicating it, mimicking the process, and is something that everybody should be able to do or know about so that they can work on getting there in the future. So again, I'd like you to start by watching those two videos. I think 3 videos associated to that part of the drill. The second thing I'd like you to watch is casting your hands in the swing. It's the second video on the page. Casting your hands is something that most of our hitters are doing. A large number of them anyway are doing. And casting the bat, simply put, will flatten your swing. Okay, it's the incorrect use of your hands in the swing that flattens your plane of your bat, which is going to make you, again, have difficulty hitting inside and outside pitches. It's going to give you holes in your swing, and this is a great video series so that you can understand what it is, how you're doing it, and again, ways to fix it. So that's very important. Thirdly, loose hands drill. It's lower down on the page, and I have a feeling from watching these videos that not everybody's holding their bats correctly. The bat should be held very loosely, and every one of our players should investigate using a grip aid, whether it's pine tar or the tacky waxy substances, something of that nature. But if you look at a major league on deck circle, there's probably 4 or 5 grip aids that the batters are using every at bat before they go to bat in most cases. And on the Saints team, we've got literally 1 or 2 people using pine tar, and not on a regular basis. So again, I would like all the players to understand how to grip a bat, the best way to grip a bat, why they're gripping it that way, and how it contrasts with what they're doing. And I'd like them to try to mimic and copy the folks in these hand drills so that they can, again, feel the difference in the swing with loose hands. So we've got that video. We've got the Justin Turner's loose hands bat grip, which all that does is show his loose grip preload. Again, very important for the kids to get that, let it sink in, and see if they can change their grip to get their hands and wrists looser in the swing. So go ahead and go watch those and then come on back to your lesson. Okay, now that you've done that, let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to achieve here. In general, a hitter that is approaching 15 years old, or by the time he reaches 16, he should be very proficient at covering the zone, meaning having a swing that will produce a line drive anywhere from gap to gap at anywhere from 16 to 22 degree upward trajectory. A player should be able to hit a pitch in that direction that is anywhere in the zone. That is a batting practice or soft toss pitch or off a tee. Okay, yes, it's a different thing when you put a live pitcher in there throwing top speed for your age group, but by age 15, 16 at the latest, you should be very well accomplished with the quick short swing that covers the whole zone, that puts the ball into the right place. So what we're trying to do is build that with each player, and what we're seeing from just a few flaws, not a lot of stuff needs to be cleaned up with a lot of our hitters, but this snap drill and how you initiate the swing and casting the hands are the two biggest things we need to fix so that our kids can get on the trajectory of being able to hit a ball in the strike zone where they need and want to hit it. So our goal is trying to get you all in that direction. So that's what we're working on here. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So the first thing I want to show you here is this hitter performing the snap drill. And let's just roll it so you can see it. Okay, let's play it live. You see how he does it nice and slow, making sure he's keeping everything in its right position with the right sequence. And this drill right here, we're going to call the snap drill. And I believe every one of our hitters on our team needs to practice this a lot on a regular basis. Even after you master it, you need to keep doing it just to make sure it stays regular and an easy feeling for you. And let's take a look at some of the breakdown on this thing here. So what you're trying to achieve is more of a horizontal or downward swing. As you can see at the point of contact, so to speak, the angle of his bat. Okay. That angle right there is what you're trying to achieve on most pitches, not an outside and high pitch, for example, but for a lot of the pitches on the plate, that's the angle you're trying to achieve, okay? So, of course, he did that and achieved that angle by starting with a good triangle with this 90 degrees. He's got a proper hand grip. Okay, look at that really close. And as you move it forward here, he's snapping the bat rearward. Snapping the bat rearward. And one important thing in being able to do that, which is also part of the snap deal teachings, is this right here. The right forearm for a right-hander, left forearm for a left-hander. This degree should always be close to 90 degrees at all times until you get into the power V, or the tail end of your swing. So as you watch that angle through the swing, you can see he's kept it more or less at contact right there. Okay? So the relationship of the forearm to the bat should always be 90 degrees. When you start the swing, the first movement here, there's his go right there. His triangle starts to turn, his bat comes rearward, his forearm and bat are at 90 degrees, and he simply maintains that posture through the swing. And you can see there he really starts to get his left elbow moving forward and around and up, and starts plunging his left shoulder rearward. Okay? So as you watch this here, see how far that left shoulder or left elbow is going to maintain his 90 degrees. Now he's essentially turned his triangle all the way, and it's facing the pitcher. Okay? If you do not, which a lot of our hitters don't, if you do not turn that elbow up and out, that elbow will stop right where it's at. Okay? If your elbow stops in here, which a lot of our players' elbows do, if you're stopping here, the only place for the arms and hands to then go, the forearms and the hands, is out and around that elbow. Okay? So these are then going to come outward. Okay? That would be his arm extended right there, so to speak. If he stops the elbow, this hand has nowhere to go but out and around the elbow. Okay? Which will make you cast your bat, which will give you a flatter swing plane and make it tough to reach inside pitches and outside pitches on a regular basis. So again, this snap drill is something everybody should grab a wiffle ball bat, standing in front of a mirror, practice this methodically, slowly, until you get it and it's comfortable. And once it's comfortable, you should continue to do it on a regular basis. Okay? So let's flip this for our left-handers. Let them take a look. Okay, this drill is real easy to practice as well. What you do is you get in the batter's box with a tee, you get your feet lined up, you take and you measure the distance from the hands to the sweet spot of your bat, and you get in this position, put the bat near the ball, you recreate this whole position right here, and then you simply back it up to your load and you slowly proceed between the 2 points until you can do it quickly and correctly. Okay, so I want everybody to work on that. I want you to do it at home. I want you to do it in the cages, at practice. I really want everybody to concentrate on gaining what it feels like to start your swing like this. Very important. Okay, here's another version of the snap drill. It should also be practiced with one hand. This is the portion of the drill where you're concentrating on a 90-degree or a perpendicular angle, 90 degrees from the bat to your left elbow or right, your forearm or your right forearm if you're right-handed. Let's watch this gentleman demonstrate the drill. So along with the other version of this, everybody should practice this on a regular basis. You should get it to feel as comfortable as possible, and some of the things to remind you of here is you can see how the elbow and everything starts to slot and everything works together simultaneously. The same thing with the two-hand snap drill, okay? So now we've got this flipped for right-handed players to see what it looks like. Okay, so again, the ability to do this and master these drills and get a good feel for handling the bat like these instructors are. Again, bat speed controls how far and hard we hit the ball. So you want to gain as much bat speed as possible, and you can see the whip from laying it down like this is how you're going to gain more bat speed, okay? That's how early bat speed is gained. The second thing it's going to do for you, it's going to get the bat on the right path, which is going to help you hit more balls where you want to hit them. So keep all that in mind as you're practicing this drill. And the third way to practice the snap drill is with a PVC pipe. Okay, and here is the third way to practice the snap drill, and this is with the PVC pipe that was provided to you by Chris, or this could be with a broomstick, something of that nature. And let's just watch this gentleman. You can see how he moves everything simultaneously. Everything's firing at once. The snapping of the hands, the slotting of the right elbow, the upward movement of the left shoulder and elbow to turn the triangle, and bam. Okay, now again, this is exaggerated. You're not going to exactly swing this way every time, but it does show, and by exaggerating, get everything moving in the right direction on the right path. So let's flip it for our left-handers. Okay, so there are the 3 ways to practice the snap drill, and I highly suggest everybody masters these drills. Get them looking just the way these instructors do in the video. Okay? So here we have Justin Turner loaded in here, and I want to take a quick look at the ending of his swing so that we have contrast for later when we get into the individual videos. But you can see he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, and if we draw a line right here, this line indicates what a lot of our players are doing that are casting their hands. If you cast your hands, what that's going to do, it's going to stop your elbows in this area right here of the swing. It's not going to allow you to get to this position. Okay? So again, take a quick look at that and then parlay that into your swing and see what the differences are. But if you do stop your elbows and cast the bat, that's what's going to give you the rotational, flatter swing. So here is Aaron Judge, and let's look at his full swing. Again, look at the same points. As he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, before contact. You'll see that he maintains his 90-degree relationship with his elbows and triangle. You'll see here that his elbow is way up by his shoulder. His shoulder is moving rearward. And it appears he's got a ball on a pretty good trajectory, and with his bat speed, I'm assuming that's a home run or close to it, right there. He's got a perpendicular relationship here with the bat and the flight of the ball. He pulled his hands inside nicely, and he got some nice results on this swing. So if we look at the front of the swing here, if you look at the hands, and the elbows, you will see that all that stuff moves simultaneously. You will also see his left elbow simply goes upward, like so. So let's go ahead and get into the individual lessons, and we'll discuss some of this stuff in further depth as we have you on the screen here. Okay, Bryson, here is your hitting lesson. And again, I realize that this is September's swings and that you have made progress in changing your swing a little bit. I do remember seeing you in the cages working on this stuff. And again, the Diamond Sports guys have done a great job of helping you guys learn this stuff conceptually and what you should be doing. So I realize that in teaching this, I'm speaking to the September Bryson and not the now Bryson. But I do want to make all this stuff visually, make you visually aware of it all, so as that you continue to progress and work on things that you do that. So I'm going to start here with your action plan. Okay, bud, so after reviewing your swings and watching you in practice, I've got some things that are very similar to a lot of our players. Some of these things are more critical to find consistency and improved swing results, hitting the ball gap to gap, being proficient on inside and outside pitches, getting the ball in the right trajectory, consistency of contact. So let's dive into them here. The snap and the laser drill, you do pretty well at moving the bat rearward. However, when you go to load, you do arm bar your left arm, which creates, when you do trigger the bat and you initiate your swing, that kind of takes you out of the correct snap drill and the way to enter everything into the swing. And it starts to get you casting the bat and more rotational, horizontally rather than vertically. You want vertical in your swing and not horizontal. So I want to, look at the arm barring and how it affects it and have you understand that, and then maybe try some different things. But mastering the snap and laser drill is something that all players should do on a regular basis, even in the season. It's not just going to help you build a swing, it's going to help you maintain a consistent swing. So I want you to, just like the videos that we showed ahead of this, I want you to work hard on that at home and outside of our Diamond Sports practices. Work on it at the Diamond Sports practices while you can around other curriculum that we're trying to get through. But if you don't do the snap and laser drill correctly, it kind of affects everything after that in the swing. So I just want you to know how important that is. The second thing I talked about a little bit, but the arm barring and the casting of your bat, when you don't turn your left elbow up and get it high enough in your swing and rotate it, up, backwards, and rearward properly, you're not going to get proper extension. You're not going to get the bat on plane correctly. It's only going to affect, the amount of pitches over the plate that you can hit well. People that maintain their arm bar through their swing and cast their bat, their sweet spot is the middle of the plate. It creates, on inside pitches, a lot of times you're going to mishit it or roll it over. You're going to pound it in the ground to the third baseman, so to speak. And you're going to pop up outside pitches or have difficulty contacting outside pitches and hitting the ball opposite field with power. So again, these are very, very important things. I'm going to show you A, what you're doing, and B, what some elite hitters are doing and some ideas on how to change it. So that's very, very important in your swing. Maintaining the triangle and turning the triangle is, it's all part of the snap drill, but it's also a movement in and of itself. So I want to stress how important that is to turn it correctly and maintain it through the swing until you get to the power V. and proper extension. Number 4 here, it looks like you're picking up your right foot and setting it back down. You know, there's drills that teach you to do that as a matter of just learning how to move in the swing and gather power and various different things. So, you know, there's things that can lead to a player having that, but when it comes to actual game time, you don't want to do that. You don't want to pick up that right foot. Again, it's not totally uncommon in youth baseball, but I just want you to know going forward, it's something that you're going to want to practice yourself out of. You know, picking up our legs and setting them back down only opens us up to putting stuff in the wrong position and having inconsistencies in our swing. It's also just one more thing that your brain is concentrating on doing, and it's taking that energy for that versus pitch recognition and, you know, trigger and launch of your swing. So your leg kick, not bad, not bad. I would change a couple of things, and we'll visit that in the video here, but I really want you to watch a handful of Major League Baseballs and players and how they leg kick, and I want you to experiment doing it differently and maybe mimicking some different players and see if you can find something more comfortable or comfortable that's different. And lastly, we have your spine angle in your swing. You can see that you are a little bit too upright with your torso. I'm going to give you some different ideas on that and pictures and video that you can mimic to try to change that. But the more vertical your upper half is in the swing, when you turn your torso, you're going to be rotational because of how vertical you are. You're going to be more horizontally vertical because of how vertical your torso is. If you put your shoulders out further over your toes, that automatically gives you a more vertical swing. So I'm going to examine that as well in your lesson here. If we had a different angle from you from the pitcher's view, we could, you know, maybe clarify that or let you see that a little bit better, but I think you can see good enough from this picture here how vertical you are in your swing. So with your body, not your bat, but your body. So I want to address that as well. This action plan is something I want you to study every one of these topics. I want you to run it by anybody and everybody you know in baseball, other hitting instructors, other coaches, from our team, from other teams. If you have any brothers and sisters, family, cousins, neighbors that play for, you know, the high school in your area or something, and you have access to a high school coach, just anywhere, you know, anywhere you can go. I want you to run this up to the flagpole, show it to as many people as you can. Gather all the knowledge on what people say to you, and I want you to come back with all that stuff, and I want you to make yourself your own action plan based on the knowledge you get doing that. And I don't care if it's different than this, if there's more than this or less than this. The important thing is that you have an action plan to visit daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, while you're practicing, so you can keep track of what you need to do to make yourself better. Okay, you got to have a roadmap to where you're going. Otherwise, there's no way to know where you're going to end up. So you got to know every time you hop in the batting cage what you're doing right then and there in that moment to make yourself a better hitter. And so the action plan is paramount to doing that. So again, review everything, talk to some other folks, get yourself an action plan, bring it to practice with you, practice at home with that in mind. You know, don't just get in the batting cage empty-headed and start swinging. Be working on something every swing. So So let's move ahead. Let's jump into your video. Okay, so let's just roll your swing. I'm gonna just roll it slowly back and forth. That way you have video of yourself swinging in slow motion that you can go back and review at any time without having to start and pause and start and stop the tape. Okay, so let's start looking at your swing. I want to first visit your lower half and your leg kick in the swing. Okay, so here's Mitch Haniger, and his leg kick looks like this. He's in his ready position. And just for terminology's sake, so we're on the same page, I'll cover it briefly right now. The different phases of the swing and the sequence of the swing and the order in which they work in. The first thing you're going to have is your ready stance or phase. This is what you're in. The pitcher may be set. He may be monkeying around on the mound and waiting to get set. But your ready position is you're waiting for him to break or make a move backwards before he comes forwards. You're waiting for him to come out of his set position before you do anything. You're waiting to react before you go to load. So it goes ready, and then you go from ready to load. Then you go from load to trigger or launch. And after you launch, you're going to launch, the snap drill, so to speak. You're going to launch all that, and you're going to turn the 90, and then you're going to get into the pulling of the bat phase. Okay, that's where you pull the bat wherever you need to go. You go directly to the ball. You want your hands to go directly to the ball. So there's the pulling of the hands. And then you get your hands through the swing and you get yourself into the power V and proper extension. And then you pull it even further upward and release the bat. Or if you don't release the bat with one hand, you follow through to your rearmost point. And then with your left shoulder, you're bringing that so far backwards that you're falling off the cliff backwards. Okay, so that's kind of the sequence and the different phases we're going to talk about so that we're on the same page when I use these words to describe them. But here is Mitch Haniger in his ready position. And he just simply takes his left knee from his ready position. He takes it upwards and rearwards to his belt buckle. Okay, so his left knee is going from down on the ground up and rearward to his belt buckle. Okay. Okay, so here's you. You are, it seems we have a few guys that do this. I don't know if it's 4 or 5 guys on the team, but we have some guys that like to start open with their left foot behind them. Okay, and I'm not thoroughly against this move. There are elite hitters that do this. I'm going to try to point out some of the differences that those players exhibit when doing it. A lot of the players that start open, it's not necessarily their full leg kick, meaning they don't start here, then bring the leg up and then down somewhere else. For example, Nelson Cruz starts here, but he quickly, before the pitcher releases the ball, moves it inward and sets the toe down, and that's the start of his swing. So I believe, for all intents and purposes, Nelson Cruz does not have a leg kick. His movement from backwards to inward is more of a timing mechanism with the pitcher. So, but I know that there's elite hitters that pick it up and put it down in a different position. And I don't have enough film on you to see if it is something that causes any inconsistencies in your swing. But the one thing with youth hitters I've really kind of frowned upon in the players that do this is it oftentimes will make you, when you pick it up and bring it forward, sometimes you'll come too far forward with it. You know, sometimes the player will come in here, and sometimes if you watch all the film and all the lessons on all of your teammates, which I recommend you do, because there's a lot of different teaching points and things to be learned that I maybe didn't cover with you in your lesson. But the inconsistency of where you set the foot down, that's just something you see with a lot of youth baseball players, and it stands to reason. You know, it's not uncommon. It's you haven't done it a million times, so you can't do it right every time. You know, that's fairly obvious. So if you can't do something consistently, though, I just want you to know that that does create irregularities and inconsistencies in your swing, which creates inconsistency in contact. So just keep that in mind. But here you are. Okay, you're going to come backing up. Okay, backing up. Just like so. And as you can see, you start it lower and then pick it up in the end. Probably not a big deal. I don't know until we try some other stuff, and that's why I want you to look at some of these other guys and try to mimic some other leg kicks. But as you watch Mitch, he's just straight up and back. Okay? And watch his hips too. Basically, he's gathering and hovering, and he's not just coming backwards then forwards. He's gathering, getting that hip movement there. And if done correctly, the leg kick can also compensate for timing irregularities in your swing. If you've mistimed something, you can speed it up or slow it down, and you can get into a hover in your stance, right? Where you then just come forward with your hip. So if you're early on a pitch, you can stay in this position right here while you move forward. He can move forward gathered like that and then come down on the ball. So if you just, as a matter of timing, are just coming back and forward, you don't get the opportunity to use that for timing. Okay, so again, let's actually do this. I should have done this in the beginning. I'm sorry. I'm going to put some information on the screen here for you. Okay, so before we go on with the leg kick, I'd like you to go to youtube.com And in the search bar, I'd like you to put the hover drill, comma, Matt Antonelli. He covers the lower half in the swing very, very well, explains it very well, illustrates it very well. I'd like you to watch that, then come back, and you might understand things a little bit uh, easier from what I'm trying to explain here. But go watch that, then come back. So here's Justin Turner. Justin Turner has come back and up, and now he's going down and out, down and out. He's sending all his energy downward into the ground and then outward at the pitch, okay? Up, out and down to the ground, twist, torque, so on and so forth. You can see he's roughly at a 14-degree angle between his right shin and the ground, okay? So just take note of all this stuff here, and as you practice and move forward. And part of the reason I gave you guys the job of watching 5 hitters a week is so when we got to this point where we're dissecting your hitting against elite hitters, you would have an idea of what a lot of people did in their swing. So I don't know how far you've come along on watching 5 hitters a week off of the Major League Baseball 2018 final stats, the highest average to lowest average on that list. But I would highly recommend getting back on that task if you haven't. If you have, great. But as we talk about other things in your swing, it's best to know what a lot of people are doing so you can search for something that works for you. Okay, so here's Nelson Cruz. I just want you to see his leg kick because he starts the left foot rearward and then brings it in. So I'm just going to show this briefly. Here he is. All he does is bring the left foot in and sets the toe down. So it's not necessarily a leg kick. He just moves it in and then initiates his swing. So for all intents and purposes, he does not have a leg kick. I just wanted you to see the difference there. Set it down and then boom. Drops downward on the ball, sends his energy downward to the ground, and then twists and torques it out towards the pitch. So that is how far body movement wise he comes downward at the ball. And you know, he does that a little bit differently than some hitters do it, but it's again enough to show you that there's downward movement into the ground and then outward towards the pitch. Okay. This is how far downward Justin Turner moves with his whole body as he's forcing himself into the ground and then out to the pitch. Here is Nelson Cruz. I just wanted to show you his leg movement from a different view, but as you can see, he's already moved it in here. And the pitcher has not yet released the ball. So it's not a leg kick, it's a timing mechanism that he uses it for. Whether it's because it improves his view or he thinks it improves his view, the important thing is if that's his case that he thinks it. You know, if that's what it takes to get him thinking that he's seeing the ball as good as he can, then great, you know, use it. But I think it's more proof because the angle of his head does not change in any of this, really. So I think what you can take from it is it's really not improving his vision. It's more of a timing mechanism. Okay, but he's back. He's down. And now he's swinging. It's not an actual leg kick. It's more like Albert Pujols, but he does have that pre-out to in movement. Okay. And here is Albert Pujols. He has the quietest swing I think ever in baseball. There might be other guys that are close to him, but he really doesn't do anything. His ready stance is the same as his load stance. He just gets a little bit more extra load when he turns the hip and leaves the right rear shoulder behind. But all Albert Pujols does, okay, is lifts his left heel up, puts his left heel back down, twists and torques, and smashes the ball, okay? So there's several different styles of leg kick. You know, if you've been at the practices where Alexander has talked about lower half and legs and being balanced at your load position, that is what he's talking about. You can see here that Albert Pujols, if you cut him down the middle, his legs are equal and opposite. They mirror each other. So at this point in time, if he picked up his left leg, he's going to naturally fall forward at the direction of the pitch. He does not have to swing his left leg in towards his other leg to gain momentum. Okay, he's already loaded aggressively to do that. And his moves are simply by rotation right at the ball. So, but if he lifted his left foot up in the air here, he would go forward. So, but he shortens that, lifts the heel and torques, and uses that energy that he's getting to torque and twist. So that's the difference. He's got a zero leg kick. So anyway, there's a bunch of different ideas about your bottom end. Again, I'm not going to nitpick yours. I think there's, probably things that would help you out a little bit more if you were to change them and try to mimic some of these elite hitters. But, that's some food for thought for you on the leg kick. Let's move into your load now. Okay, Bryson, let's cover the load portion of your swing. So I'm just going to roll you, let you see what you're doing here. So here you're in your ready position. You're waiting for the pitcher to do something, make a move. He starts moving, he gets closer to his release point, and back you go. And that's where you trigger and launch right here. Okay, so what that tells us is that right there is pretty much your fully loaded position, okay? So let's just take a look at that a couple times in slow-mo. Trigger, load, and then how we get to load is here. Okay. How we get to load is here. And load looks like, final load looks like that. Okay. So again, getting to load. And final load. Getting to load. Final load, and then trigger. Okay. So what I want to show you, conceptually speaking, just as a theory, again, my preference, if I had to teach somebody how to get to the load in their swing from scratch, somebody that's never played baseball, I would teach it and I would describe it verbally as saying loading the 90. Excuse me, loading the 90. And here's what I mean by that. If you take a look at Ronnie, okay, there's Ronnie in his ready position. You can see he's got an aggressive rake or stance towards the pitcher. His right elbow is higher than his left elbow. You can see that your right elbow is equal to or a hair lower than your left elbow. And if you connect those 2 points, you're upward. If you connect his 2 points, he's downward. So just schematically in creating a stance that's aggressively raked towards the pitcher, you can see the difference there. He just looks, it makes you look more aggressive, because remember when we leg kick, we're going to come up and then we're going to come down to the ground, whereas you're set here to go upward. Okay, so keep that in mind, but nonetheless, you can see Ronnie's in a pretty good position with his 90. You're not bad there with your 90, but you do arm bar a little bit more. You see how Ronnie's got some more bend in him there at the elbows. Okay. And he's not really going to change that amount of bend or the angle in the elbows. Okay. All he's doing is he's crouching a little bit, but more importantly, and to my point, he's pulling his right elbow behind him, not to the catcher. He's not rocking back a large distance and just going straight back, because just moving straight back does not accomplish this. Just pulling straight back does not accomplish stretching and creating tension in the rubber band between the left hip and the right rear shoulder, okay? So when Ronnie turns his 90 rearward with his right elbow and then walks away from it and leaves it there for a split second, creating more tension, he's getting all the tension and the snap when he decides to initiate his swing that he needs to gain early bat speed and more exit velocity on his contact, okay? So loading the 90 and not arm barring is the way I like to teach it. Now, are there Major League Baseball players and elite hitters that do arm bar there? Yes. And one of them was Ken Griffey Jr., if you remember that name. One of the greatest baseball players to ever step on the field. He came really close to a complete arm bar, but not completely. The difference is he pulled out of his arm bar and turned the 90 rather well. He came out of his 90 a little bit earlier than a lot of today's players because that's being taught differently. Like if you watch Aaron Judge, we'll watch some film on him. But I would rather see a player do it this way for consistency and having a shorter swing in a number of different reasons. So turning the 90 is something that I would, if you felt good with it, I'd love to see you try to practice that and develop that as your load. But as we see here, you're simply going rearward and coming forward. As you can see, there's no real significant tension being built between your right shoulder and your left hip. You're simply moving your hands out here and arm barring, okay? So you're getting this arm straighter. So now when you come forward, you're still not really walking away from your hands and creating more tension. When you come forward, you're already arm barred out and as back as you're going to go, and your hands just come with the front of your body, okay? Your hands in relationship to distance between these 2 points, it doesn't change when you walk away from your hand. So you're not gaining any load or tension or stretch in the rubber band in your load and then when you step away from your hands. So, again, I preach and strongly recommend that you look into doing what Ronnie's doing here or something of that nature. Here, for contrast, and another idea is Sawyer. Okay, here is his ready position. And then he goes to load. You can see from here to here the amount of movement he got with the right elbow, and it went behind him. Didn't go rearward. Okay. And then after he gets to full load and he starts his swing, right before that, here he is walking away. He's pulling back and walking away at the same time, okay? Pulling back, left foot going forward, creating max tension between the left hip and the right shoulder. So there's just another sample for you. So here's Mitch Haniger. He's got a starting position similar to yours, but you can see when he turns the elbow up and back behind him, it's a little bit more subtle. Maybe not as much movement as Sawyer. Okay, so there's a difference. But he is doing the walk away. And when he starts right here like you are, he does turn the right rear elbow up more instead of leaving it further down. And you can see his left arm, that bend in that arm does not change. He does not arm bar that thing. So he is, you know, by my definition, loading the 90. Loading the 90. He's not arm barring. He's not thrusting the hands rearward. But you can see as he starts to kick, his hands still come back and up and out a little bit right there. So he's stretching as he walks away from his hands as well. And then we know that he's got as much bat speed as the next guy at the major league level. So there you go. So there's just some ideas. I really like the loading the 90. If you load the 90, then all you do is have to, you know, to do the snap drill. It's going to be much easier. You're already in position to do the snap drill. If you arm bar when you load like this, then you have to pull and get the elbows back to the 90 before you turn. It's just one more step and one more thing you have to do to be able to swing correctly. If you load the 90, it's just snap and go, you know, so give that some thought. Okay, Bryson, so let's now talk about your snap and launch of your swing. Let's look at how you initiate the hands and elbows and the triangle and everything in the swing and see what it looks like. Okay. So here you are at full load, right about where you start moving your upper half and your hands. Right here, okay. So before you go too far here, I can tell you that that move right there looks pretty good. The bat, you know, it's going a little bit behind you, but it's essentially going rearward. I would like to see it go more straight towards the catcher. But on the whole, that initial movement, you know, you don't have any weird wrinkles in your hand movement, any additional or extra hand movement that makes the bat do anything strange. Okay. However, the first thing that I see that pops into my mind here on this portion of the swing, again, is you're practically arm barred there. That arm is really close to straight. You know, you can see you've only got a little bit of bend left in it. Okay. And as your swing progresses from this point, if you stay arm barred, which you pretty much do, you can see how flat it is here on your front side, okay, versus your elbow being up here at this point in time from turning the triangle. But what that's creating, okay, if this elbow is not going to get up and out of the way, then this portion of your arm has to go this way. It has to come out and around you. Okay, so when your hands start becoming rotational, the first thing that happens is you're not on a direct path to the ball. You're not just slamming your hands to the ball. Okay. And when your hands become rotational, your bat becomes rotational, okay? So right there, right then and there, which unfortunately is every swing, you are too flat on every swing, unfortunately, is the bottom line. So that's why I led the drill off with the snap drill and wanting you to watch the casting drill. If you got a little bit too excited and just jumped into your lesson, I want you to go back to the beginning and watch all of the videos on the snap drill and the casting drill, and then come back. If you've already watched them, I think that I've made this very clear that, you know, this is what's going on, and it's something that we need to work on. Basically, every time you come to practice and you hop in a cage and you swing like this, the unfortunate thing about it is you're further ingraining in your muscle memory an incorrect swing. Okay, so that's how important this stuff is as far as getting it fixed and moving forward with your swing. But when you arm bar, it's going to cause you to cast the bat and become rotational, and then you're going to struggle with inside and outside pitches, okay? It's just the science of it. It's not a guesstimate. It's not, you know, it's a proven science. You know, if you're rotational, you now have to compensate for how far inside or outside a ball is by twisting and rotating horizontally. So if the ball is inside, you now have to speed up your swing to get it to the point where it can have decent contact. Because again, if your swing is going away from you, but the ball's coming inside in here, you need to speed it up and get it back to this point where it's inside. Versus with your hands and rotating or turning the 90 and taking the hands directly to the ball like this, okay? That's the difference, okay? When you don't arm bar and you get that left elbow up here and the left shoulder gets thrust rearward so that you can get proper extension, it also allows you during the pull phase of your hands, which you really don't have, it allows you to pull right to and through the ball, okay? So as we look at this swing going forward, you can see right here, you almost have your elbow stacked. Your left elbow almost directly right over your right elbow. That is a classic definition of casting the bat, okay? So for contrast and comparison, if we look at Aaron, again, Aaron loads the 90. Okay, there Aaron is fully loaded. And he's beginning his launch and snap. You can see the tension he has built up. You can see the tension he's got built up between the left hip and the right shoulder. And if we roll this ahead as he launches, look where his left elbow goes. Okay. Another thing to keep a really close eye on and it's hard to see from that angle, but he's maintaining his 90. He still has his 90. You know, yours is fairly well collapsed at this point in time. It's hard to see again from that angle, but you know, you're probably closer to 30 or 40 degrees. So if you look here, here's the important part of why that is he's thrusting the left elbow upward, outward, and behind him. He's taking the left shoulder and doing the same and laying that back here, okay? So if you are not going to clear and get this elbow up here, you're going to be rotational. There's no two ways about it. That's, you know, one causes the other is really what's going on. So, and again, I think it's all because you start in that arm bar and you continue that arm bar. And again, look, do not feel bad about this. This stuff is not intended to make anybody feel bad about themselves or their swings. You know, these are minor tweaks, and these are it's more of a situation of you need to be aware of it so you know what you're working on and what to change. But I guarantee you, these are simple tweaks that you can get down in a short period of time if you decide that that's what you want to do. Okay, so again, it's nothing to feel bad about. In fact, you know, as a lot of baseball professionals say, they never really started to improve at baseball until they started concentrating on their weaknesses and making their weaknesses strengths. So, you know, I hope you've got the right view on this stuff going forward. You know, again, don't take any of this the wrong way. It's only intended to help you out. So, but just look here at what Aaron's got going on as a swing. He is textbook mechanically as to way most major league clubs are teaching it internally and in their minors system these days. It's just like the Diamond Sports guys are laying it out. This is the stuff that's being taught to everybody in the major leagues at every level and almost from team to team identically. Now, the thing that nobody can compensate for in their teaching is everybody's different. So everybody's always, you know, going to look different, do a few things differently. But rest assured, this is how important the snap drill is and the maintaining the 90 in your swing is those two things pretty much do not differ from one elite swinger to the next. So don't take these phases of your swing lightly. I beg of you not to do that. So, but here you go. He's just turning the triangle. He's got proper bat leg. If you look at the starting position of his bat, okay, he's got plenty of leg. His hands are high. His right elbow's high. He's loading the 90. And from there, like in September when I first met you guys and we had our brief little introduction to hitting, I told you guys all at that point in time how important it was to maintain the 90, to get to the 90 and then do the proper snap drill and turn the 90. and we didn't get into a lot of things at that point in time for a lot of different reasons, but here we are now, and this is just showing you the benefit of practicing and working on those things. So here's another point that I want to get to. Aaron's Power V. The Power V, from our point of view as we watch this video, you kind of want to see his V, and you also want to see that his V is pointing at the pitcher and past the pitcher, and it's parallel with the ground. All important points in extension. In the practice scenario, off a tee, off soft toss, you always want to practice any pitch in the strike zone getting to a power V. That's something you really need to work on. But that's what it looks like when you get proper extension and your bat is on a vertical path. If your bat is not on a vertical path and you're more horizontally rotational from casting and arm barring, okay, look at your extension right there, okay. So if you do not get to the power V and fully extend, the obvious deduction that we take from that is you did not get your best bat speed and exit velocity on that swing, okay? If you're not going to extend, you're not going to have the pullback. If you're going to take a whip or a towel, let's say you're going to take a towel and you're going to snap that towel, okay, you're going to have a tremendous amount of pullback. You're going to rush your hand forward, and then you're going to have a tremendous amount of rearward pull from your hand to get full extension and maximum whip from that towel, okay? And you can see Aaron here is getting into a position where he has that maximum pullback, okay? So this position here, with the left shoulder leading that, you want to push back and pull back with that shoulder so hard that you have a sensation of falling off a cliff backwards, okay? But without that extension that way and pulling that shoulder, he's not going to get his best extension out here, okay? So you're not bad in your overall torso and leg extension. Whoops. But you do see that it can be improved, okay? So again, just to point out, after contact, you're getting into where you should be extended here, and your elbows are still up close to your torso. You're not fully extended. So again, these things are, a lot of our hitters are dealing with the casting issue and the snap drill issue. It's not abnormal for youth hitters to be in this position. As a youth hitter, you've been, you guys were smaller when you were 10 or 9. You had to do a lot of different things to create momentum and to create power. But as you guys get older, you get bigger, you get stronger, it's time to start cleaning that stuff up. And those are two of the areas that we, all of our players need to improve on and concentrate on. So that's why I'm pointing this stuff out to you. So I think for the most part, we've covered what we need to cover. I don't have a picture of you from another view. I just want to show you a couple of things though before we end this. Okay, so here's Aaron Judge from the pitcher's point of view. We call that down the line. So on the topic of spine angle in the swing, I don't have a view of you from here, but I can tell from how vertical you are looking at you from the other point of view. You're probably in this range. You're probably fairly straight up. When you're straight up like that, again, that's going to make your swing flatter. When you're down in this angle here, your spine angle is closer to Aaron's here. That's also going to open this area up to swing at a low inside pitch where, it gives you an area for your hands and arms and everything to come through on a rotational basis on a more vertical plane. So a little bit for contrast here, and just looking at something, you'll see here that this is a pitch location inside and low to Sawyer. You'll see his spine angle allows his hands to come right through here. Okay. If he was not in that spine angle position, that couldn't happen. But you can see he takes an inside pitch and hits it just left to center field versus rolling over on it and grounding out, which when you become rotational happens quite a bit of the time. Okay. So that's just food for thought on how that inside pitch looks attacking it with a vertical swing. Okay, so here's Aaron again in that spine angle. Something I'm trying to share with all the players here on this view of Aaron is the concept of swinging with your back. Some coaches might say swinging with your chest. At this point in time, we've already shown you how vertical you are from that one angle. I'd like to see you from this angle, but I think also you might be, and I won't know until we get the other view, I think your chest may be too parallel to the side of the plate as well. I don't think yours closed off and aggressively raked forward as Aaron is here, okay, in his load. So those are some things we need to look at here. You don't want to be over-rotated and too closed here. I think that's detrimental to a swing, but you don't want to be parallel to the plate with your chest either. You do need to be closed off a little bit to gather enough load and enough tension in that left hip and right shoulder. So when you pull the arrow back and you load like we've been talking about, the reason I, again, prefer the elbow up method and pulling on the bow rearward, not towards the catcher, but behind you, is so that it's easier to get to this position. Okay, this position is highly important in a modern baseball swing. It's taught religiously in the process. But another point here, now that I've got all these lines pulled up, is swinging with your back. When you initiate your swing, all you're doing is turning the 90. You're not sending your hands outward. You're not arm barring. You're not becoming rotational horizontally. All he's doing, you can see the right rear elbow dropping into slot and the 90 turning, but the distance from his back of his hands and his elbows and everything remains the same until he gets into the power V. He's not pushing the bat away from him and elongating and arm barring. That's not swinging. Okay, that's rotating and becoming elongated in your swing. Okay, you want a short swing, and you get that by keeping that relationship and distance of the elbows and the hands to the back, and you're turning the back and turning the triangle. That's what's happening. Okay, so I just want you to see that for yourself and try to mimic that, but that's a big part of the swing right there. So here's Mike Trout. You can see how closed off he is there. You can see that he's pulled back with his right elbow like he's pulling the bow to load. He's loaded the 90. Okay, you can see his forearm and elbow relationship there. Okay. So all he then does is turn it and come directly to the ball. He maintains the 90 and thrusts the left elbow and the right, or in the left elbow and the left shoulder backwards behind him. Okay. You can see his power V is pointed out towards the pitcher. It's not exactly parallel to the ground. But you can see he's getting a really good extension. Okay, so anyway, these are the things that have jumped out at me on your film here. I'm going to put your, if you have pitching film from that day we pitched and film, I'm going to put that in there. I don't know if you do. I'm going to put your hitting in there. Well, actually, I don't have a whole lot of hitting tape on it. You've seen it all. I clipped out every one of your hits, so because we didn't get it that day. So anyway, this concludes your lesson. Bryson, what I'd like you to do is review this, internalize it, think about it, talk to as many people in baseball as you can. You know, find out if there's other things you want to work on or need to work on in other people's opinions. I want you to solidify an action plan, and I want you to go to work on it. I want you to concentrate on that stuff every time you step in a box or practice. I want you to up your home practice time and work on this stuff until it becomes comfortable. And I would also like your personal feedback on all this stuff, just so I know that, you know, we're either on the same page or we're not, you know, and that's just so that going forward, I know what to do and what to work on and how to help you. So again, review this stuff, study. Our website's got stuff all over it. I don't know if, you know, some of our kids may not have looked at it much at all. Some may have. I don't know. All I know is that saintsbaseball.club has good information all over it to help you players build your knowledge base about your swings. How on earth can you make a decision about where you're going in baseball if you don't have the knowledge to do so? And that's what that website's there for. I highly recommend all of you guys get on there and just watch random videos. You know, make time. You're not going to do it in a week. You're not going to do it in a day, but get on there and make it a goal in an orderly fashion to get through all the information on that website to expand your knowledge about baseball.
buddy. I mean, that's what it's there for. You know, again, you got to have a roadmap of where you're going, or you don't know where you're going to end up. So you might as well study this stuff. It's only going to help you with baseball. So anyway, review this stuff. Get back with me. You know, I hope this works for you, and I look forward to seeing you on the 6th when we get back to it.